Crime, Wine, and Chaos contains adult language and graphic content. Listener discretion is advised.
We're on the highway to hell, Chaos Kids. I'm Amber.
And I'm Naomi. And this is Crime, Wine, and Chaos.
Yeah, it is. Fuck yes, it is. Man.
We're on the highway to hell. You know what? From what I hear, based on what they say about hell, it's going to be a rockin' party. That's all I'm saying.
It really is. It really is.
It's going to be a rockin' party. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll save you a seat if I go first.
Fair. Samesies. Whoever goes first. Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll save you front row seat. How's that?
VIP seating. Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on with you, sister?
Oh, thank you for asking. We have a new club member. And we do. Justin P.
Hey, Justin, welcome to the club.
Welcome. Justin P. I've known since junior high.
No, seriously?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's been a dedicated listener. He messaged me today and he was asking if you are he's like, is Naomi your real sister or do you just call her sister? And I was like, no, she's my real sister. He's like, you guys are funny.
Real sister. Oh, thanks, Justin.
Yeah. We share DNA. It's true. Mm-hmm.
We do. And yeah, we've had 40 plus some years to refine our vaudeville routines. So
it's true. So yes, welcome. Glad you're here.
Yeah, that's super cool. Awesome. What else, sis?
Oh, we're leaving in a day and a half. I'm so excited. I just want to overeat and sleep. Can I do that?
You know what? You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's what I say. Whatever you want to do. And if that's all you want to do, then I got you.
Good.
you. Am I making chicken divine on Thursday night and we're just going to eat it all weekend or?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my plan. No one ever really said, yes, let's do that. It was more like, that sounds, I could, but no one was like, yes, Naomi, let's do that. So I got you.
Thank you. I'm going to tell my household, don't reach out to me unless someone's bleeding out. And even then, call me after you've tried a tourniquet. You know what I mean?
That's what ambulances are for, right? You're not an EMT.
I basically am. I did get my CPR certified card today and I laminated it. I'm basically a doctor.
Of course you did. Laminated. Of course you laminated it. Aren't they only good for a certain amount of time though? 2 years or something?
Yeah, it's enough time to tear. Not on my watch. God.
In case anyone was wondering, Amber is absolutely the Monica in our family, okay? If you know, you know.
Okay, well, what's new with you? Oh my God.
Not a whole hell of a lot, sis. Not a whole hell of a lot. Thank you to you and your man friend for coming over and letting me feed you in return for the headache that is putting a new soft top together and getting that on the Jeep. So now I can have an extra long topless summer, which is very exciting. I love that.
I know.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm also gearing up, not just for Sister Weekend, but I'm going to go on a major road trip starting next week all over the damn country. And I'm going to be tooling through the Southwest and stuff. So I needed to make sure that I could go topless if I wanted to, because that's how you stay cool in a Jeep.
Mm-hmm. That's hashtag Jeep life.
That's hashtag Jeep life. That's exactly right, sister.
I get it.
What are you drinking?
Thank you for asking. I've got a headache. I'm drinking water. I'm really sorry. It's all very vanilla over here today.
Hey, you know what? We need to stop maligning vanilla. Okay. Vanilla is delicious. It really is highly intensive to cultivate and is not an easy flavor to extract from the planet. So you know what? Vanilla is amazing. And so is water. It's really good for you. I drink water all day, every day. You know me.
I do too. And I also prefer vanilla over chocolate with just about everything. ice cream
A
cake,
lot of things.
you name
A
it.
lot of things. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of the vanilla. Also, caramel. Like my favorite is caramel. I'll take caramel
Mhm.
over chocolate any day.
See, I'll take butterscotch over caramel any day.
Okay.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not going to say no to a butterscotch, but I want the caramel. I really want the caramel.
I don't want like a butterscotch candy like that your grandma always had that was who
Why?
knows how
Oh,
many.
I love a hard candy, caramel or butterscotch. I'm an
I
old
don't want
lady. You know
Mhm.
how I feel about Werther's. Okay. You know
I
how
know
I
you
feel
do.
about Werther's.
I want a proper butterscotch sauce.
Sure, sure, sure. Sure, sure, sure. I can
Yeah.
get behind a butterscotch sauce. Yeah. I've
All
never
right.
actually made one. I wonder what the difference is. Obviously, more butter.
I looked it up one time and now I don't remember.
Great. Thank you
I
for that.
feel like one of them has dairy and one of them well, no, they both have dairy. Who knows? This has been Cooking Corner. Thank you for coming. Do you, do you
When I was a little girl, no, I'm just kidding.
Mhm. fucking hate those online recipes? Just tell me. I don't care about your grandma's peach farm. I don't
Just give
fucking care. It
me
all
your recipe. Just give
started
me the
when
recipe.
how many fucking cups of flour? How many fucking cups? Oh my god.
Every time.
Ugh. Every time.
Sister, do you want to hear about a crime?
I sure as shit do.
So I don't know if, well, she might listen to this episode because she was the one who sent it to me. So I have this friend, Jen, and she and I had one of our little bonding moments was over true crime. And I said, hey, if you have any like cases that you would love to hear, that you can't stop thinking about that maybe I've never heard of, like send me some tips.
Mhm.
And she sent me this one. So I'm covering this and hopefully Jen is listening and she approves of how I do on this.
All right.
I'm going to tell you about Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett.
Oh, those are cool names. Okay.
So it's Oklahoma City, September 26th, 1981.
Mhm.
I'm going to say right out the gate, just setting this up for you. This has got real Misty Copsy vibes.
Oh no.
Mhm.
Okay.
So friends Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett were off to spend the day at the Oklahoma State Fair.
Is there a Randy in this one? Because I'm going to lose it.
There's no Randy.
Okay. Randy did it. I knew it. He's at it again.
There's no Randy in this one. Sorry, no comic relief, really.
Okay.
So, first time by themselves. They're going to the fair. Both girls were 13 years old. Charlotte was about 5 feet tall, weighed about 100 pounds, with shoulder-length, strawberry blonde, feathered hair.
Oh. Like a little fairy.
And blue eyes.
Oh.
Charlotte was wearing a dark maroon, short-sleeved pullover blouse with white stripes on the sleeves and white trim on the sleeves and neck, blue jeans, Nike tennis shoes, and a wedding band type ring on her right ring finger. She had a triangle-shaped birthmark on her lower back near her waistline and a small dot-shaped scar below her left eye. She had silver caps on her lower front teeth and her ears were pierced. Cinda was also about 5 feet tall, weighed 88 pounds, and had shoulder-length dark brown hair and blue eyes, and was also about 5 feet tall. Cinda was wearing a white t-shirt with dark blue sleeves, the ZZ Top logo on the front, and the number 81 on the back. Size 12 slim blue jeans, a rope belt made of braided orange and rust-colored nylon with a leather buckle and her name tooled in the leather.
Oh my God. I am here for this outfit. Also, she's like pocket size.
And two-tone blue Nike sneakers with black waffle soles. She also had a small scar below the corner of her left eyebrow and wore a retainer behind her lower front teeth. Charlotte's mom, Perla Peterson, said that Charlotte was always really good about calling home whenever there was a change in plans, and she clearly trusted Charlotte to spend time at the state fair with Cinda on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So around 5 p.m., Charlotte called home and she told her mom that she and Cinda had been offered a job that evening to help a carnival worker at the fair unload stuffed animals from a truck.
No. Remember that one summer where you dated a carny for a second?
I did not date a carny.
Remember your carny moment? Small hands smell like cabbage.
It was like 5 minutes. So
too long.
I mean, he had a car.
Oh, okay.
So Perla said, that's fine. But Charlotte needed to call her mom at 9 p.m. to check in. And Cinda's mom, Norma, told Cinda the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then 9 p.m. rolled around and neither one of them called home.
Mm.
So their parents called the Oklahoma City PD to report the two missing.
Right.
To their credit, the police department seemed to take this missing persons case seriously right from the start, instead of ruling them as runaways first.
That's good.
A task force was formed, and both uniformed and undercover officers scoured the fairgrounds for any clues or signs of the girls' whereabouts. And it was a lot of work to track down as many people as possible that had been at the fairgrounds that night. It was estimated there were likely not just hundreds, but thousands of people that were all potential witnesses to what happened to Charlotte and Cinda.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the police department, volunteers went from booth to booth hanging up flyers, while Charlotte's family set up a 24-hour post at the fair.
That sounds so daunting for that to be your crime scene. There's no collecting of evidence. It's just a fucking pile of garbage with hordes of people and chaos.
Right.
That sounds like a nightmare. Yeah.
100%. And as the police investigation unfolded over the next few days, Charlotte and Cinda's family continued to hang flyers all over the city in the hopes that someone would come forward with information to help find them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the detectives interviewed years later still remembers going to Cinda's home to speak with her parents and how Cinda's room was left exactly the way it was the day she disappeared.
Oh.
Including the crocheting she'd been working on.
She was crocheting?
She'd been making Christmas ornaments.
Oh my God.
And Norma gave one of these ornaments to the detective and said, "This will be your inspiration."
Oh.
And then 2 teenage boys came forward claiming to have information about what might have happened to the girls. According to the boys, all 4 of them, the 2 boys and the 2 girls, had gotten in a car with a man who told them they were on their way to meet the truck that had the stuffed toys that they would be unloading.
No, that wasn't part of the plan.
This man drove the 4 teens away from the fairgrounds and out to a truck stop off Interstate 40. Once they got to the truck stop, the truck was not there. The man then asked the 2 boys to wait at the truck stop while he took the 2 girls to go check on the truck.
No. Oh, God.
He gave them $10 before driving away with Charlotte and Cinda, and neither the man nor the girls ever returned.
Mm-hmm.
Many news outlets mistakenly reported that these boys were Charlotte and Cinda's boyfriends, but they'd actually just met them on the day of the disappearance at the fair.
Oh, not even boys that they knew from school or anything. Oh, wow.
Nope. The 2 boys provided police with a very clear description of the man driving the car and the car itself. The man was described as a male between the ages of 35 and 50, weighing approximately 200 to 250 pounds and standing at 6'1 to 6'3 tall. He had dark hair with gray streaks, a mustache, and a full beard, and muscular arms. He was wearing silver wire-rimmed glasses, a brown striped or plaid cowboy shirt, cowboy boots, a flimsy straw cowboy hat, a digital watch on his left wrist, a yellow badge, and a leather belt with the name Joseph tooled into it.
This guy sounds fucking gross.
Right?
I bet he was sweaty.
Right?
Yeah.
That description of the man would turn into a composite sketch that was added to the missing person flyers the family was continuing to put up around town. According to witnesses, this man had approached numerous children the day Charlotte and Cinda disappeared, offering jobs that paid $5 to $10 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 1981.
Okay, that's like
That's a lot.
That'll buy a house and feed a family of 5.
I mean, the current federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour right now.
Right.
Which, as we've talked about, it should be like $50 an hour, but like the man's yellow badge was located soon after. It bore the name and photograph of Donald Michael Corey. Corey was a what?
The carnival man? Donald Michael Corey?
The man's yellow badge that the boys saw on his body, the badge that he was wearing, was located, and it had the name and the picture of Donald Michael Corey.
Okay. But his belt said Joseph.
His belt said Joseph.
Okay.
Corey was a drifter working at the Oklahoma State Fair that year. The 2 teen boys were shown the badge photo and said that could be the same man they had been in the car with. Immediately, police charged him with 2 counts of kidnapping and launched a nationwide search. Corey was eventually arrested in Alabama and brought to Oklahoma City as a suspect, and only after he'd been hauled in from another state was he able to prove he had been in Dallas at the time of the disappearance of the 2 girls.
Oh, okay.
Investigators were also able to rule out all employees with the Oklahoma State Fair as suspects, stating they felt the abductor had posed as a carnival worker in order to gain the girls' trust.
Sorry. Because nothing says trust like a carnival worker. God. Jesus Christ. I've heard of posing as an officer or a doctor, but never a carny.
Oh my God.
My God. I know how I'm going to make him feel comfortable. Tell him I'm a carnival worker.
Oh, sister.
Sorry.
It's okay. You know what? Laugh it up while you can.
Sorry.
Okay. So a couple of months into the investigation, the Oklahoma City Police Department put up a $5,000 reward for information leading to Cinda and Charlotte's return. $1,000 was added by the families, with Crime Stoppers offering an additional $2,500. All this was on top of funds raised by Highland West Middle School, where the girls were students. I mean, they're 13. What are they, like?
Yeah.
7th or 8th grade?
Yeah. Babies.
Police received numerous potential sightings. Some believed they'd seen the girls in California and Maryland, while one sighting was called in from Germany.
Whoa.
A woman from New Jersey claimed she'd seen the 2 girls amongst a group of 5 Hispanic men in work uniforms at the Funtown Pier near a residence in Seaside Park. The girls' parents received countless leads from various organizations, all of which they passed on to police. Cinda's father was aware that a man identified as James Miller had allegedly confessed to killing his daughter, while another man named Sig Ragland claimed to have seen the girls' bones and burned clothing. Charlotte's older sister, Lisa, said her former boyfriend had received a phone call from Charlotte during which she said, quote, "Curtis, help, I can't get a hold of Lisa," but it has never been verified.
I hope that's not a made-up story, because that's really fucked.
Right?
Yeah.
In April 1985, a report came in which said Cinda and Charlotte had been spotted in Miami several times over the course of 2 months. They were said to be using names that were similar to their real ones. Despite a task force being formed to comb northwestern Dade County, the girls were not located.
God.
The case was featured on America's Most Wanted. After the broadcast, a woman called their hotline claiming to be Cinda. However, she turned out to be an 18-year-old from Virginia who had a history of mental illness. Eventually, the description the 2 boys gave of the vehicle they had been driven in was determined to be a rental car, a tan two-door 1980 or 1981 Pontiac Grand Prix with South Dakota license plates. It had a half vinyl roof and numerous papers scattered across the dashboard. The police were able to take that description and find that a very similar vehicle had been rented by one Roy Russell Long.
Okay.
Long was a carny and a part-time long-haul truck driver who lived in Tuttle, Oklahoma, but was in Oklahoma City the day before the two girls went missing to deliver a flatbed trailer to a local business, and would later admit to the police he had been to the fairgrounds the day of the disappearance.
Oh, shit. Does he match the description?
My next sentence. Long had an uncanny resemblance to the man in the composite sketch. So much so that a woman contacted police to tell them, yo, that dude looks a whole hell of a lot like my ex-husband, Roy Long.
Oh.
In fact, according to an Oklahoma City prosecutor, Long was a person of interest during the early stages of the investigation, but was removed after 3 or 4 days. It would take another 3 years for him to reappear on their radar.
Did they say why he was removed after 3 or 4 days?
No.
Shit. Okay.
By the time police put all this together and tracked Long down in 1985, 4 years after Charlotte and Cinda had gone missing, dude was already in prison in the Wyoming State Penitentiary. Police discovered that Long was watching the coverage of the disappearance of Charlotte and Cinda in the TV room in prison. In the meantime, Long was locked up for kidnapping 15-year-old Sandy Brokenleg and her 12-year-old friend, Sharon Bald Eagle. The two girls had been hitchhiking to Idaho when Long picked them up in Casper, Wyoming. He'd brought them to his home in Evansville, Wyoming, tied them up at gunpoint with coat hangers, and sexually assaulted them. While Sandy was able to escape and get help from a neighbor, both Long and Sharon were gone by the time police arrived.
Oh, no.
Long was eventually arrested by the FBI in Albuquerque, New Mexico. When questioned, he said he'd driven Sharon to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and put her on a light-colored bus or truck bound for Dallas, Texas.
Where's Sharon?
When questioned about kidnapping and assaulting Sharon and Sandy, he claimed the girls had willingly engaged in sexual activity with him out of a need for money and had lied about their ages.
Fuck off. Piece of shit.
Sharon was never found.
Oh.
Long took a plea deal in relation to the case. He was sentenced to 2 life terms in prison for charges of kidnapping for the purpose of committing indecent liberties with a minor. Additionally, Long had a history of sexual violence, specifically against young girls, including his own daughter.
Fuck. Of course he did.
Yeah. He had been accused of molesting his daughter from the time she was 3 or 4 years old until she was 15. So now Oklahoma starts working on the extradition process and building a case against Long. His daughter lent her own testimony to assist in this case. She told police that there were multiple times when she would be with him on cross-country trips and he would see young girls, give her money to go play pinball or buy a soda, and then he would use stuffed animals or puppies to lure girls to his truck.
Oh my God. This guy is fucking awful.
When she would come back, the girls would be gone. Long's daughter also said that he told her no female over the age of 13 would ever sexually satisfy him.
Gross.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Investigators also spoke with another inmate in Wyoming who told them that Long had been watching over the case from prison, and Long told this other inmate, quote, "If you cut the bodies up small enough and stick them in a rat hole, they'll never be found." Also, turns out, Long had spent time in prison in California as well, where he learned a trade. He was a meat cutter.
Oh, God. I just gagged a little bit.
The car Long rented was tracked down in El Paso, Texas, and thoroughly examined. Several scalp hairs found in the trunk came back as a match to Cinda, and animal hairs found matched those of her 3 dogs and 1 cat. Some blonde hairs recovered in the car, stuck to the corner of a mat, couldn't be found to conclusively be tied to Charlotte, but circumstantially were likely Charlotte's.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in the first ever use in the state of Oklahoma, investigators employed luminol to test for blood and found blood stains in the trunk of the car. 3 separate forensic tests proved there to be a bloody boot print and other blood stains on the mat in the trunk. While they didn't yet have access to DNA technology, an expert was able to determine that either one large body or 2 smaller ones were outlined in the bloodstains. However, he wasn't able to definitively say it was human blood. It's
still
1985.
It's the 80s, yeah.
Yeah. A lock of blonde hair was found during a search of Long's trailer home in Wyoming. While it may have belonged to Charlotte, tests proved inconclusive because the strands didn't have their roots. And other places known to be frequented by Long were searched, but uncovered no further evidence.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Long was brought to court after extradition on charges of kidnapping and first-degree murder in October of 1985, and the state presented at the preliminary hearing to the judge, investigators were confident they had all the evidence they needed, not just to prove that Long had kidnapped and murdered Charlotte and Cinda, but that he likely had killed as many as 20 or more girls at this point.
Wow.
Along with hearing from one of the boys, Lance Rumsey, the judge heard testimony from 2 teenage girls who claimed to have been approached by Long. They said he'd offered them a job unloading toys, but they grew suspicious and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
The defense argued that Charlotte and Cinda had been spotted in Miami, Florida. They also argued it was possible they were working as prostitutes in Burbank, California, filming a porn movie titled Little Love Slaves.
I'm sorry, what?
Uh-huh.
That's quite the leap. What? Oh, fucking defense. Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The hearing ended with the judge throwing out much of the physical evidence as well as information regarding Long's involvement in the case of Sharon Baldeagle and testimony from Long's daughter and an inmate who had served time with him in California. Lance Rumsey was barred from testifying as he'd been hypnotized during the investigation, and the defense felt he was now partial to outside suggestion.
What kind of... Is this a candid camera trial? What's going on?
Oklahoma, 1985.
Oh my
That's all
God.
I can say. I don't...
What? Okay.
The judge also threw out the charges of kidnapping, citing a lack of evidence that the girls had been confined. The prosecution appealed the removal of the kidnapping charges and won. During the appeal, both sides saw motions thrown out. Again, Long pled not guilty to murder and kidnapping, and he was denied bond. While in jail, he was offered a plea deal with the ability to serve his sentence in Wyoming if he revealed the location of the girls' bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But he turned down the offer.
Fucker.
Both sides came before the judge in December 1985. The defense asked the judge to drop all charges against Long as there wasn't enough evidence to convict because the judge had dismissed most of it as admissible.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge obliged. The jury and the case were dismissed.
No.
Yep.
Oh my God.
After the judge dismissed the case, Long was walked out of the courtroom, still in handcuffs. And as he passed Charlotte and Cinda's families in the front row, he leaned over and whispered to them, "Only I know where the bodies are, and I'm not talking."
Oh my God. You fucking monster. Did anybody in those families just... I would be lunging for that fucker's throat.
Could you... I
No.
almost asked. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course not. No, you cannot imagine.
No.
In 1986, Long wrote a letter to the Daily Oklahoman claiming he could solve the case and was willing to speak if they paid him money.
To what, be put on his commissary?
I mean, right?
Doesn't he already have 2 life sentences?
Yes.
Okay.
The publication denied this request. He also wrote a letter to Norma Pallett.
Who's that? Oh, Norma
Cinda's
Pallett.
mom. Cinda's mom.
Yes.
expressing how bad he felt, but claiming he never saw Cinda on the day she disappeared.
Fuck off after saying to her that you know where her body is.
Uh-huh. Long died of a heart attack in November 1993 while imprisoned at the Wyoming State Penitentiary. Investigators believe Cinda and Charlotte's bodies are somewhere in Oklahoma, probably within about a 50-mile radius of the fairgrounds, but they will likely never be found. Charlotte's DNA is available for comparison, while Cinda's dental records and DNA are on file should her remains be located.
Ugh.
Royal Russell Long is also a possible suspect in at least 3 other cases. The disappearance of 19-year-old Carlene Brown from Rawlins, Wyoming on July 4th, 1974. She and her friend Christy Ann Gross were attending the Little Britches Rodeo when they vanished. Christy's remains were located in Sinclair, Wyoming in October of 1983, so like almost 10 years later. Her cause of death was 2 blows to the head. Carlene has never been found. The disappearance of Deborah Ray Meyer from Rawlins, Wyoming on August 4th, 1974. So like a month later, Deborah was visiting relatives when she decided to walk to a local movie theater. She never arrived and hasn't been seen since.
Oh my God.
And the abduction and murder of 10-year-old Jaylene Dawn Banker on August 23rd, 1974. Like a fucking spree. Her family were at the Carbon County Rodeo in Rawlins, Wyoming, when Jaylene disappeared. Her body was found in a field 2 miles southwest of Rawlins on April 24th, 1975. Her cause of death was also a blow to the head.
God.
Charlotte's mom, Perla, has since passed away. She kept Charlotte's room just as her daughter left it for 8 years, holding on to hope that she would one day return home.
Oh my God.
In 1983, she participated in the National Child Search, providing information about search efforts to the families of missing children. And Charlotte's disappearance still greatly affects her sister, Christy Lane, who was just 5 months old at the time Charlotte and Cinda went missing. She says her older sister's disappearance made her very protective of her own children.
Mm-hmm.
And that is this case of Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett.
That's awful. What the fuck?
Fucking carnies, man. Fucking state fairs.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let your kids go alone to the state fair. You guys just don't do it.
Well, and the 10-year-old was at a rodeo with her family.
Right?
That's spooky. All of them seemed like, like events, rodeos, state fairs.
Uh-huh. Crowded places.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's horrifying.
Yep.
God, I hate that.
Yep.
Ugh, these ones that are being suggested to you are fucking dark. What are we doing?
Look, I know some really interesting people. That's all I'm going to say. I know some interesting people.
I guess. God.
Sister, it's a true crime podcast.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I know. Well, sometimes crime doesn't always have to be murder. That's true. You did a con man a few episodes ago, yeah?
Yeah, he did murder his wife, but
oh. Well, never mind then. Okay, well, I've got a little bit of a palate cleanser.
I know what you're going to talk about because I went into the folder and I saw the title of your paper, so I know what we're in for today.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that's fine because I'm ready for it. I'm here for it.
You want to hear all about Oak Island?
Yeah. Are we going to talk about the show too?
I didn't take a deep dive into the show because for reasons, I can't. We'll get to it.
Okay.
Why? Do you watch the show?
I mean, I've seen a few episodes like on the Netflix or something. You know what I mean? Like just on the background. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in the 1970s, 2 brothers, Rick and Marty Lagina, read an article in Reader's Digest magazine about buried treasure on Oak Island, which is right off of the mainland of Nova Scotia. Off the coast of Mahone Bay. Since then, the 2 brothers, along with a team of people, have invested thousands of hours and millions of dollars in the hopes that they will find a buried treasure. These are the dudes that are on the show.
Uh-huh.
I want to get into the psychology of this too. We'll circle back to that. But
great. Love it.
So, according to legend, in 1775, 18-year-old Daniel McGinnis was just chilling in his house, in his whatever, in his hut in Nova Scotia when he saw a strange light coming from Oak Island. So he gets in his rowboat and goes across the bay over to the island, and he brings two friends with him, Anthony Vaughn and John Smith. And the two want to go see what's going on over there.
Okay.
So when they get to the island, all three head towards this light that they're seeing. And when they get to the light source, what they see is a ship's buck and tackle, which I had to Google. It's the pulley system.
Okay.
Okay. Hanging from an oak tree. And beneath it is a large circle in the ground. And it looks like something had just been buried there and the earth was still sort of fresh.
Was the light they were seeing like some kind of reflection on the metal of the
I believe
mechanisms
so.
of the buck and tackle or whatever you called it?
That's right. It was just your buck and tackle.
It was just shiny. So it was like reflecting the sun back at him or something.
Right. Or the moon
Got it.
or whatever. Okay.
Okay. Got you.
So in this circle, they're like, something's buried there. And so, the three had heard plenty of stories of pirates in the area, and they believe that this circle thing is buried treasure. So the next day, they return with their shovels and they start digging.
Sure.
And
of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah. At about 10 feet down, they found a row of logs, like they'd been placed strategically lined up, right?
Right. Like a platform made of logs.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Then about another 30 feet down, they find putty and charcoal.
Okay.
Don't know. So finding these random things only furthers their belief that this is some sort of pit that has been made to discourage would-be treasure hunters from believing that there's anything else in there, right? Like it's a ruse, if you will.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
So they kept on digging for 9 years.
I'm sorry, what?
Just an easy 9 years.
Man, can you imagine the calluses now?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Jesus.
I know. I mean, that's one way to keep your kids out of trouble after school activity. Go dig.
I guess, but okay.
I bet they were so buff.
But only in their arms.
They were like weird, like Popeye shaped.
Yes.
Oh my God. Plus they had to row to get over there in the first place.
Yes, a lot of arm workouts.
Oh my God.
Like these were the original, they skipped leg day, guys. You know what I'm saying?
They're shaped like Donkey Kongs. They skipped leg day for 9 years. Oh my God. Okay. So by 1784, they had dug down 90 feet. And what they found at 90 feet was a large rectangular slab of granite with symbols carved into it that looked like hieroglyphs.
Okay.
And when they pulled the slab out, the hole very quickly filled up with seawater. And so they determined that this was some geniusly designed booby trap.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it completely fucked up their hole that they worked on for 9 years, right?
Right. And now this is still like the 1700s?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that area has since been dubbed the Money Pit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when these symbols on the granite were later translated, it is believed to have read 40 feet below 2 million pounds lie buried.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But many researchers disagree with this translation, and there are some who believe that the symbols translate into instructions on how to shut off the booby trap, and others believe the symbols are a deadly curse meant to threaten anyone who tries to search for the treasure. Those are your three choices.
That's it? Those are my three choices.
That's it. Yeah.
It might be a recipe, a story about grandma's place and a recipe.
Back on the peach farm. Yeah. Oh my God. So stories of the curse of Oak Island predate Donkey Kong Boys. It is believed by many that the island. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Fuck. You know what? This is good because I thought this one was going to be boring because I was actually bored researching it.
That's because this is just such a boy obsession. This buried treasure shit is all I could think of. It's like, of course, it's like these three boys just can't stop digging for buried treasure. Can't.
It was Michael who suggested this case.
Of course it was.
Oh, man. Okay.
Love you, Michael.
Oh, God. Okay. So the curse goes way back, and it is believed that the closer you get to the treasure, the more in danger your life will be. And the island does have a long history of tragedy. So in the summer of 1861, there was a treasure enthusiast working at the money pit with a steam boiler, and the boiler became overpressurized and exploded, scalding him to death.
What are we
doing?
The curse is the obsession for the treasure, not the island.
I think it's the whole island. Okay. Then in March of 1897, 47-year-old Maynard Kaiser was working at the money pit. There had been another pit made nearby that was used for fresh water. So like they had basically made a well and they would send buckets down to collect water. But one of the buckets became disconnected. So Maynard climbed down on the rope to reconnect the bucket. He got it connected and filled the bucket up, but when he was coming back up, the weight of himself and the full bucket was too much for the rope to hold. The rope snapped and he fell 80 feet to his death.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So after this tragedy, most of the workers quit their jobs out of fear that the island was cursed, and work sort of halted on the island for a long while. And Maynard's body was never found. He went down the well and that was that.
Okay, that well is poisoned. Do not drink from that well.
Oh, God. That's like the water tank at the Cecil.
Ew.
Oh.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. In the summer of 1969, Oak Island landowner Fred Nolan was searching in the island's triangle-shaped swamp, and he discovers evidence that there might be a buried ship there.
Mm-hmm.
He finds a mast and scuppers, which is the drain on the deck, in case you were wondering.
Great.
Lots of ship terms. And Nolan had suspicions for some time that this triangle-shaped swamp was human-made, and it was used to hide the large ship.
Okay.
So what people had a hard time conceiving was the ability for pirates in the 1700s to have the engineering skills to bury treasure so elaborately with a booby trap. But there is evidence of pirates in Jamaica and in Haiti that had made very complex tunnel systems and vaults to hide their treasures.
Okay.
Also in pirate folklore, when they buried their treasure, they would bury someone alive with it so their spirit could guard the treasure. And this could be an explanation of the accompanying curse.
Oh my God. Okay.
Nope. Hang in there. Hang in there.
Okay.
Okay. Back to deaths. In 1954, an article about the buried treasure on Oak Island appears in Coronet magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Rustall, who was a motorcycle daredevil, kind of like an Evel Knievel of his time, sees the article and decides that he has what it takes to find the treasure.
Okay.
So he gets, everything that he can find about Oak Island. He has maps, books, charts. He studies it until he's like an expert on the lay of the land. In October of 1959, he moves with his wife and children to the island to search for the treasure.
Oh, man, the things that women put up with,
I know. We're going to live on this island where there's no humans, so I can dig.
In the money pit. I mean, or is anyone like at any point like recognizing the double entendre of that term? I mean, we're talking.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's there with his son. Rick was 9 years old at the time, and he said he couldn't have been happier to leave the city and live in paradise. He said for the first 3 years of being there, he felt like the luckiest kid in the world. Robert's daughter, Lee, says that for her dad, it wasn't even about the money for him. He wanted to be the one to unravel the mystery of the island. So dad is there with his crew, and they're digging, working on machinery, and even reaching out to potential investors and making their own updated maps based on work that they had completed. Like, he's taken it real serious.
Okay.
He had really done his homework studying the island, studied all the attempts that had been made prior to him, and he believed he could find the treasure in 3 months. But 3 months turned into 5 years.
Again, money pit.
Yep.
Okay.
And so during this time, his family's basically living in poverty on the island.
Right.
And despite all of this, Robert's attempts to find the treasures, it was not lightening up. It turned into a full-blown obsession. He decided that he was going to stay on the island until the treasure was found, no matter what. By 1965, Robert had poured everything he had into funding the treasure hunt, and he refused to leave empty-handed. Yeah. Meanwhile, his family's living in poverty.
This is the sunk cost fallacy too.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that. Okay. So on August 17th, 1965, Robert and his oldest son, Bobby, and 2 of his crew were working. Robert leaned over to look inside of a shaft and fell in. When Bobby saw that his dad had fallen in, he went into action to try to help him, along with 2 of the workers, Carl and Cyril. They all went down the shaft to try and help Robert, and they died.
All 4 of them?
Yeah, there was some sort of gas in the shaft that had killed them.
Again, the curse is the obsession.
In 1973, treasure hunter Dan Henske completes an ancient practice known as dowsing on Oak Island.
Okay.
This consists of using metal rods to detect underground voids. And after this practice, Dan is suddenly overcome with a disturbing sensation. He says he felt as though a spirit of a dead priest had entered his body. He said that he believes that the priest had died by having his throat cut, because during this experience, Dan fell down and felt as though he was experiencing the death of the priest. Okay, I know you think this sounds like poppycock, but his experience of something paranormal on the island is just one of many. A man named Fred Nolan was convinced that the ravens on the island were possessed by the souls of former slaves who had helped to dig the booby traps. And several people, Naomi, have reported seeing a large wild dog with eyes that are red.
This is turning into like Skinwalker Ranch, where it's like there's a little bit of everything here now on this island. Have anyone seen any UFOs while they're out there?
No, but there are some people. So there's like a triangular shape from Oak Island to Frog Island and Apple Island. And there's some people that have compared this area to the Bermuda Triangle, of people traveling between the islands have suddenly lost power to their boats, or they get into this spot and their fully charged cell phones just go, all battery power is gone. Okay. So the Laguna brothers wanted to investigate these paranormal reports. So they head out one night, they pull over, get out of their car, and the island has sort of a constant misty fog over it, which it makes it extra creepy anyway. The brothers are standing there when they suddenly both heard a blood-curdling human scream. So they got back in their cars and got the fuck out of there. But anyway, the Laguna brothers are still there. They live on the island. They've been searching for treasure since I don't even know when. They have been excavating the island. They're the people that are on the show looking for treasure. And this is like their life's work. The thing is too, that's the whole story. But the thing is the island itself is only like 140 acres.
Yeah, it's not big.
And they've been digging on it since 1775. You would have fucking found a treasure by now.
I mean,
Right?
I know that they have found like spaces down there.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the show, they found spaces, they found tunnels, they found how the seawater is like getting in, like
There was
millions
this,
and millions of dollars. Like, where are they even getting this money?
I don't know. There was this, the show that I was watching is that one that Shatner hosts. It's called like Strange and Unexplained or something.
Right.
And of course, they had like psychologists weighing in, and they really were talking about like, this is the same thing that plagues like gamblers, like this idea that look, one more hit and I'm going to get there. And also, if I walk away, somebody else is going to walk in and get it after all of my work. And it's like, just give me one more day. Just give me one more day. Just give me one more day. It's like not good.
No, it's not.
Not good. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah. That's Oak Island. I know. I know. Yeah. I don't know where they're getting all this money. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why they're doing the show.
Oh, for sure. And at this point, like, even if there was a treasure, it still might not even recoup your costs. Like, you don't know what it is.
Right. At this point, I'd be really surprised if it did recoup the costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got excavators out there. They've got a whole crew of people. I mean, that's got to be for years.
Years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy pants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like just a maybe. It's all just a maybe.
Mm-hmm.
After all this time, nobody's found any treasure.
It's so weird too, of like all the islands all over this earth. Like, why that one?
I know.
It's so weird.
And what's even weirder is that like we know that there's treasure at the bottom of the ocean, like all over the place, and people can dive down and go searching for that, and people do. Like there's whole people who spend like all their time literally like scuba diving down to the bottom of the ocean to like go find like wrecked ships that have treasure on them.
Right.
And it doesn't cost them millions and millions and millions of dollars and decades of their lives to do it, to find like one treasure, you know, like what?
Right. It's an obsession, clearly.
Oh, clearly. That's, yeah, that's chaos. That's chaos is what that is. That's a whole bunch of chaos. Thank you, sister. I appreciate
You're welcome.
that.
You're welcome.
You guys, we did it. We made it to the end. We got here. We got it in the can. You know what? We're on all the things.
We are. Go find us. Give us a review and a rating. We love it.
Love a review. Love a rating. Send us an email. Amber gets the love letters. I get the hate mail. It all goes to the same inbox, though. It's crimewineandchaos@gmail.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Love you, sister.
Love you so much, sister.
That was so chaotic.
So fucking chaotic. Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.
Crime, Wine, and Chaos is produced by 8th Direction Records. Artwork by Joshua M. Davis. Music by Paul Abner. If you would like to support the show, you can visit our Patreon page at crimewineandchaos.com/Patreon. Cheers.
Oh, I did that already. I'm so sorry. Oh, I already said that. What am I doing?